Welcome back for another top-notch video. This week, guys, we'll be talking about the 29 March through 2 April. This week was full of action, so let's get right into it. As always, the top-notch channel is about the Thrift Savings Plan, the TSP. We talk about the C, S, I, and F fund, or if you are in brokerage, Roth IRA, or retirement accounts, we talk about IVV, VXF, EFA, and AGG ETFs. What these equal is the S&P 500, small caps, international funds, and bonds. We do a general overview, do a technical analysis, and then we show you where we are allocated on the Top Notch channel. If that sounds like something you are interested in, please like, subscribe, or share. Appreciate your guys' support, and let's get right into the video. So for this week, guys, we first moved to the TSP Talk website. It's a website that kind of shows where funds were for the week, kind of show you guys where we are at. Look at these funds, guys, for the week. The F, C, S, and I funds were all up for the week. With the C and S funds making the most. S fund almost 2%, C fund 1%, I fund was only not even a quarter, about a 0.25%, and F fund about a 0.25%. Very good week for stocks. Things moved quite along pretty well. Let's do a general broad view overview of these stocks and these markets. So Tom does some commentary here, has some good charts here. Please check him out on the TSP Talk website if you're interested in that. Let's look at some of the technical analysis here and broad overview spectrum for charts. So here is the C fund, or the S&P 500 fund. As you can see, we've kind of been going up and up and up. This is a little lower high, and this is a little higher high, so that is a positive sign. This is a lower high, lower high. We're hoping to make another higher high and a lower high here in the future. So 1, 2, and then 3. Hopefully on the way up. We did hit kind of a top here. We're waiting to see where that went. Markets pulled back from that top on this Thursday. So please keep that in mind. Again, markets were closed today on Friday, so if you're not seeing any action in the markets today, that is the reason why. Let's go ahead and move into small caps, which is the S fund. This is basically what is going on with this fund. As you can see here, we are at our 50-day moving average with small fund, or the small caps. Not a very good looking chart compared to the S&P 500 fund or the C fund. As you can see, this is a high here, this is a lower high, okay? So low here, lower low. That is not good. That's trending in the wrong direction. If we were to break that 50-day moving average, we don't even see the 200-day moving average on here. I would proceed with caution on that part, but on this chart, but we'll give you more technical analysis later on. The I fund, international markets, EFA, ETF. What do we see here? General trend is going up ever since this year, which is positive. The 50-day moving average has held every single time here. And on this chart here, if you don't know, this right here, this is a little flag. And when a flag is like that, in that kind of characteristic, that is a bullish flag. Typically, that'll go up from there. We could see this hit the top of the trend line. So good things for EFA possibly in the future. Moving on to bonds, or AGG. This is the F fund. What are we seeing here? Like we mentioned, all year round, we really have told you guys to stay away from this fund. As you can see, this is the 200-day moving average when stocks are underneath that, and the moving averages themselves, the fastest moving averages. That is a really bad sign. This is a bearish flag opposed to that other bullish flag. When bearish flags break down, they tend to go lower, so that's not a positive thing. Can't seem to beat that 20-day moving average on this chart. Let's get right into our technical analysis for these charts. So we're going to move to IVV, or the C fund. As you can see here, this trend we've had for the C fund has been going for quite some time. Above all our moving averages here, doing very well, no issues, concerns, higher highs, higher lows, in the right direction. Let's move to our technical analysis chart. For our technical analysis for IVV, the things we like to look at are long-term, short-term charts. This is a long-term chart for IVV. We look at two indicators. The two indicators we like to look at is the derivative oscillator, which is these red and green bars. Typically when red is coming out into green, price tends to go up, and when green is going down into red, price tends to go down. This is price up here. That's our first indicator. The second indicator we like to look at on these charts is the PPO line, which is the price percentage oscillator, and the moving average. When the price percentage oscillator blue line is above red, charts tend to rise, price tends to rise. When the blue line goes below red, charts tend to fall, or price tends to fall a little bit. So those are our two indicators we like to look at on all of our technical analysis charts. Then we give you guys kind of a red, yellow, green light of where we see fund should be is not in the fund. In red light, yellow light, proceed with caution, and green light, please be in the fund. Of course, all this is up to your personal preferences and risk tolerance. So for IVVDC fund, what are we seeing for this week? Another good week here. Derivative oscillator coming out of this. This is excellent. This is 1, 2, 3, 4 weeks of rising positive momentum here. Price is starting to pick up on that. That is very good for long-term charts. Our PPO line is below that moving average. That is not positive. But with one red sign and one green sign here, that makes it a yellow. Proceed with caution. We are involved on the Top Notch channel in the C fund, waiting to see good things. So part of the reason why is because on the short-term charts, as you can see here, since the 29th of March, we had a positive indicator here. This is a very positive sign for our derivative oscillator. That is a green symbol, green sign, stay in stocks. And then this PPO line did cross on the short-term chart. Back on the 29th, we got in stocks somewhere back here, which was real positive. And then things have really taken off from there. Look at all that green, all that price movement up on short-term charts. So for our short-term charts, this is a green light, good short-term buy, IVV or the C fund doing very well. Let's move into our next chart, which is VXF. On our other analysis, we said that it has been struggling lately. You can clearly see that here on this chart. This is the S fund, just FYI. So what we're looking for here, guys, is we could see a head and shoulders pattern here. There's a shoulder, there's a head. This could be another shoulder. But overall, this is not really a good trend. This is, like I mentioned, this is a high here. This is a lower high. This is a low here. This is a lower low. That is not necessarily positive. There is this trend line drawn in here. We'll have to see if that holds. If it does not, the next thing we could possibly see on here is this this solid line here holding. It held once, held twice, held 3 times. That's positive. But if we break that, guys, we could be a long ways down for VXF or the S fund. So please proceed with caution on this fund. On our technical analysis, we follow the exact same indicators. Long-term charts, what are we seeing? Still in the negative, guys, for the derivative oscillator. Not a positive sign here. Not a positive sign here for our PPO line. That's a red symbol signal right there. That's a red signal right there. That is not get involved in this fund. Red light for VXF or the S fund. Not really interested in this fund at this time. Need to see it come back before, or see some more positivity before we get involved in this fund. On the short-term basis, though, we do see some positive signs here. As you can see, green light here on the short-term side for the derivative oscillator, and for our PPO line above that red moving average, price is reacting. So for a short-term buy, I would say a very short-term buy, might be worth your time to look into it, but not for the long haul, guys. That is what I'm seeing for VXF. Proceed with caution with this fund for sure. On long-term basis, do not buy this fund at this time moving into second quarter. Moving into our third fund, this is EFA or the I fund, International Markets. What are we seeing? The one thing I really am cautious about on EFA right now is look at this double top, guys. There's a double top here, double top, 1, 2, and this could be number 3. Triple top is not a good sign for stocks typically for the market. If we break the support here, it's a long ways down for EFA. So please keep that in mind. Just be cautious with this fund moving forward. Let's get into the technical analysis charts for EFA or the International Fund. What are we seeing for the I fund? As you can see here, we are in the positive here for our derivative oscillator, so that is positive. That is a good sign. But our PPO line is still in the red here. This is a proceed with caution or a yellow light. Might want to start dipping your toes in or putting a little bit funds back into this fund just to see where they would go moving forward in the future. That is long-term charts. What are we seeing on short-term charts for this fund? Good things for short-term charts. Had a fake out here, so that usually is going to mean big price action. Sure enough, price reacted pretty positively to this fake out that was going down. We weren't involved in this fund. We were more involved in the C fund just because we saw this last week and we were cautious about it. Now that it's taking off again, we don't know how long that will last, but that's a positive sign here. Positive sign for the this as well. So it's a green sign for short-term buy for EFA or international markets. So please keep that in mind. Watch the fund very closely. Moving on to AGG. With AGG, this is our bonds fund. This is kind of the safety net for if you're not in stocks, you're in bonds. This fund all year, like I mentioned, has not done well. Has continued to struggle. We are just now approaching that 20-day moving average. We saw that bullish or bearish flag on the other charts. I think that we could possibly see this go back down once it hits this moving average. I'd like to see it get above, but we do not have that. I would be staying away from AGG, but let's look at it from the technical analysis. Same exact indicators, long-term charts. What are we seeing? We did see a positive sign here for our derivative oscillator. It is moving back towards the top. This is the second week here. Positive price action once we saw that start to come back. But our PPO line is still way down from the moving average. Very negative sign. So we got a negative and a positive. That makes a yellow light. Proceed with caution if you were to get involved in this fund for long-term charts. Short-term charts, what are we seeing? Short-term charts do look good. We have the PPO line above here, and we have the derivative oscillator in the positive. Two very positive signs here. So that is a green light sign for short-term buy for AGG. Being a TSP investor myself, I would not invest in this fund. I'm more looking towards those long-term charts, long-term buys. But we'll see what happens in the future with AGG. If it starts to pull this fund more up on the long-term charts, the positive, it could be a fund to look into allocating a little bit of money. But for the most part, still kind of proceed with caution with AGG. As always, guys, on the Top Notch channel, we show you guys where we are allocated. And for the week, we are allocated on the Top Notch channel to the IVV fund or the C fund. 100% of our money is going into that fund. We are super excited to be back into stocks. We've been out of stocks for the first couple months, kind of waiting with that proceed with caution. We finally bit the trigger last month in March. And really hoping for good things moving forward in the future weeks. If you guys have questions, concerns, comments, please write those down below. As always, we really appreciate you guys watching the Top Notch channel. Please like, subscribe, or share. It's another Top Notch video. We'll see you guys next time.